Welcome to the Blue Lounge. Welcome to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys are all having a blessed and an enjoyable transfer deadline day. It has been hectic, it has been crazy, and it has been a little bit surprising in certain aspects. We have seen deals that have been mentioned that have been quite close, that fell apart, and some that were unexpected, and they did happen. Tonight, we're going to be focusing on Chelsea Football Club and our transfer business. Um, there are still a few deals that could potentially happen in the next hour or so. We'll have to wait and see, and we are following all the news, all the developments live, and anything that does happen, we will show it to you and we will share it with you. But tonight, while we are waiting to see what kicks off, we're going to be addressing the window and what has taken place over the past few weeks. I have with me tonight an exclusive panel of people who some of you may know, some of you may not know. Those of you who follow my channel will know these guys, and you probably know a lot of their opinions. We'll start with the top, and we have there Eric Blue. Eric Blue, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. How are you, my man?
Big up. I'm doing good. Long time no talk, and yeah, good to be back.
It's good to have you back on, Eric. It's good to have you back on. Andreas, how are you? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm not the best, but because I had a fever, but yeah, I'm all right. So, but I'm really looking forward to the end of this transfer market. So this is going to be really exciting.
It has been really exciting and has been, a bit surprising in certain aspects. But it's good to have you on, Andreas. And I know you're not feeling too good, so thank you for making time to be here. Boogeyman, how are you, my brother? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, and it's about time that this transfer window shut down so see, we can start
We can
seeing
sleep,
real football.
so we
Man,
can
yeah,
sleep.
'cause, I'm getting frustrated with this whole transfer things. And thanks for inviting me. And good to see Eric and Andrea. That they all look healthy. I mean, except Andrea, that is not too healthy. But yeah, thanks for inviting me, man. Good, thanks.
No, it's great to have you on. It's great to have you on. I am seeing a little bit of a glitch on the screen. Are you guys seeing the stream all right? Is it, or is it glitchy?
Looks fine to
Is
me.
yeah? All right.
Looks okay to
Okay,
me.
so guys, I want to ask you this question. I want to ask you this question. The transfer window has been stressful to a certain degree. We have managed to do a lot of business in respect to outgoings, and we have done a lot of business in respect to incomings. Our squad has had a massive facelift in this window. A lot of the players that we had, that we relied on, depended on last season, the season before, are no longer with us. They have all moved on to other places, other clubs, other countries. What do you guys? I mean, what do you guys think of the way we've handled our transfer window generally? I mean, we'll talk about specific players in a second, but generally, as a transfer window, how do you guys think it went? Um, we'll start with Boogeyman.
Listen, this transfer window as a Chelsea fan, I don't think it was a successful transfer window. So, but it's like it's pretty much like a lottery for me. We just uh, putting young players together and hope they gel and they produce something, which as a Chelsea fan I'm not used to, because we always have a solid base, and then we the transfer windows always bring young a mix of young and experienced player. But this time I don't think this group of players are ready for the challenge of EPL. So I'm now rating this transfer windows positively. Of course, we have talent. We have a lot of talent, and they're really young also. So that is a worry, a really big worry for me as a Chelsea fan.
So in regards to the actual quality, you don't have an issue with, but in regards to the experience, you have an issue with, right? So what you're saying?
Yeah, as a Chelsea fan, the quality normally is always there, but the experience is what we have to edge the other teams. But this time, we don't even have the experience. We have the quality. What those kids have proven in the club they come from, they seem like they have it, but they just haven't done anything anywhere. Well, whether
All
you
right.
talk about Enzo or you talk about Latvia or even Casado, they haven't done it at club level to inspire any confidence or consistency that we need in Chelsea to even pretend to the top, not even the top four, those five and six and seven places. We need that consistency, and these players don't inspire any confidence at all. So that's my biggest issue with this transfer.
I mean, we do have a World Cup winner in Enzo Fernandez. So experience in on the massive stage is there. Maybe players are a little bit on the youth side, young players. But okay, it's a fair point. It's a fair point. I'll come back to Eric. We'll go to Andreas. Andreas, how do you rate this transfer window for Chelsea Football Club? In regards to the outgoings and the incomings, how do you see it?
I would say it's a good window because the owners have shown that Chelsea are still ambitious with their transfers and wants to win. It's just that it's so many young players, but the owners was clear from the start. We want to challenge for the future. They want to build something for the future. They are not specifically thinking only about now. So that's why I think we are getting so many players. But in terms of straight positions in what we got, I think we solved our midfield problems. We had a lot of, we have talking about this for years now. We didn't have a DM. Suddenly now we have both Lavia and Caicedo with Enzo Fernandez still being here. So I think a lot of things have happened and we have some quality players. So totally I'm happy about the window. I would say it's not perfect, but I would give it 7 or 8 out of 10.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. 7 or 8. All right. Okay, Eric.
Yeah, I would echo what what Andrea said. I think it's been a very good window, personally, especially considering that the targets I was looking at for so long, well, some kind of defensive midfield option is what we've ended up going for. You know, even though they're a little bit young, I understand, but part of it is the fact that we have that position secured, for the long term. And I think it's not just about the future. It may look as if we don't really care about right now, but I think these players can compete now. And then in the future, they'll probably be even better, especially when the chemistry improves over time. So I'm very happy that we got two defensive midfielders. That's a huge thing for me. I've wanted that since Matic left all those years ago. I was not happy that he got sold to United, but we move on from that. Yeah, apart from that, obviously we signed Jackson. Um, very underrated player. I don't think most people knew who he was. He's come in, hit the ground running. He has a lot of quality on the ball. He can score, and he puts in a lot of effort. Helps his team out a lot with his passing, with the way he holds up the ball. So I think that the recruitment is a very important aspect of what we're doing, and so far so good. I think ever since the January window this year, I think we've been doing things the right way, targeting the right players. Okay, some people might have a problem with the age. It's not so easy to be consistent with younger players, but the consistency is not my concern just because we have actually brought in a coach who knows how to work with them, can develop them. And I don't think we need to wait for like 5 or 6 years for us to be a serious team again. I'm expecting us to challenge for the title next season. This season is more about, just gelling the team, figuring out what's, we look like when everybody's firing. So I'm very optimistic. I think we're heading in the right direction. we're just not set up for instant, success or instantly to challenge this season. So the
All right.
target this season is just top six, or maybe even top four.
Yeah.
And then next season, I think we will challenge for the title.
All right. Before I comment on that, I just want to confirm. Fabrizio Romano tweeted. He says Ian Matson and Marco Correa are both staying at Chelsea Football Club. Interesting that he hasn't talked about Conor Gallagher in that tweet. So he just confirmed Ian Matson and Marco Correa. So Chalobah and Gallagher could still potentially be going. The whole deal with Bayern Munich, obviously, that's out of the window in regards to the transfer window. But there are other clubs still interested in Chalobah. They still have time to work out a deal. So the fact that Fabrizio Romano only talked about Matson and Kukurea, we could still see something happen with Conor Gallagher and Chalobah. This is the thing. I personally think we've had a fantastic window, but I also question one aspect of this transfer window. And again, I lean towards what Boogeyman was just saying in regards to the fact that we've signed a lot of youngsters. We've signed a lot of youngsters, and we didn't sign them cheap. We didn't sign them for like £5-6 million. We've signed them for 20-25 million pounds, and we've literally sent them out on loan. Players that we actually signed for a fee that is similar to what Sufyan Amrabat is probably going to end up costing Manchester United if they do end up buying him at the end of the loan deal. Sufyan Amrabat, a fantastic midfielder, a experienced midfielder, but we went for a similar transfer fee for players that are yet to make their mark. That for me is something that is questionable. The fact that Chelsea are potentially building for the future, for me, is questionable in respect to the amount of money they've spent on certain players. I think one questionable aspect in this transfer window was the delay that they imposed on themselves in respect to Moses Caicedo, because had we given Brighton the asking fee, the asking price, which was known to everyone, of £100 million, we would have signed Moses Caicedo way before preseason kicked off, where he could have had a preseason with us. Maybe it would have done him a lot of good in respect to his adjustment and his development within the team. Instead, we waited until Liverpool came in and started kicking up a fuss. That we ended up paying more than what we could have had him for. So I think our strategy approaching this transfer window hasn't been good, hasn't been great. I also believe that Chelsea Football Club wanted to streamline the squad. We did a fantastic job selling players, but we didn't exactly do a fantastic job when it came to the acquisition of players. And again, I agree with Boogeyman. We should have done a little bit more work in respect to getting a couple of experienced players within the squad. The approach of getting youngsters in, fantastic, but I believe we should have got some experience within our squad, and I think we missed the boat on that one. And I think we will be selling a whole bunch of players again in the winter transfer window. Um, I want to also ask you guys this question in respect to players that Pochettino has spoken highly about and has asked pretty much to have them in his squad. Whether I agree or disagree with Pochettino, neither here or there. But the fact that Pochettino has spoken highly of Conor Gallagher and spoken highly of Ian Matson, and yet it looked like Chelsea, and it still looks like Chelsea would be open to their sale. Is there a little bit of a communication gap here between Pochettino and the ownership, the directors? What do you guys think about that? I mean, how do you guys feel about that? It's open to all of you.
Yeah, listen, I will just go quick and then no coach takes a team and thinking, I'm not going to win this season, I'm not going to win next season, but I'm building a team to win the third or the fourth or the sixth season, because Pochettino, in maybe the next couple weeks, he might find himself under pressure because the fans are not satisfied with the way we're playing, and he might just be fired in 4 months or whatever that thing may be. So the truth is, a coach will always want to win, will always want good, experienced player. And for example, the way I see Chelsea Football Club today is I feel like we have a team that on paper can play football. They can play football, but we just don't have one person that can, like, I mean, Enzo, really good player, talented player. But other than releasing this pressure zone, passing the ball, all those things, I don't see anything else. He's not going to be the one sparking or taking the ball and do what Kevin De Bruyne does for Manchester City, or what Bernardo, no, not this Silva, but the previous Silva from Manchester City used to do in the middle.
David Silva.
David Silva used to do in the middle when Manchester City is having difficulty breaking games and all those things. Or even this Bernardo Silva, sometime, and Mahrez, all those players. Or let's go Yaya Toure from the midfield. Let's just go Yaya Toure and Kevin De Bruyne compared to Enzo. He's not going to be doing those things where we find a team that just sit there and defending. He's not going to be the one taking shot from distance. And compared to Conor Gallagher, technically he's limited. But if you're looking for someone to take shot from outside of the box, he is the one. If you give him, but he will always take it. Is it going to be 50-50, maybe five shot out of 10, maybe hitting the post or whatever it is, but he's the only one that can take it. So if you look at Pochettino, he has a bunch of players that are not fully developed or don't really show their full potential. So he's just like, okay, if I put Konagala in front, or at least from the midfield, I will be having some attacking threat and someone that keeps shooting and from the distance. Then allowing our winger to have more space. Because if someone is shooting from the midfield, defender tend not to go all the way marking the winger. They tend to come in the middle to prevent that guy to shoot. So nobody else is doing it. Chipomeka, not Chipomeka. Yeah, that young kid, Chipomeka, he's also has that tendency of trying to shoot. He's never doing it. So you can understand why Pochettino is in the middle. Even Mason during the during the preseason, he was scoring a lot of goals. You can notice why Pochettino want to have those options available. But again, with 1 billion spent by the team, you also understand why the board want to bring money into the. It's just complicated. But
Boogie, like I get what you're saying, but just tell me this: are the board listening to Pochettino? Because I just said,
no, I don't think they are listening. I don't think they are listening. That's why I start by saying no coach coming trying to build for 4 or 5 years. They know even this year we are going to turn on Pochettino if the results are not there, if something are not going in the right way. They try to keep Potter. We see where it ends. 8 months later, he has to go. So if we're not playing good, if the results are not following, Pochettino will be sacked. So no coach is going to take a team and just be like, let me just play with young players. It's not a coach like Pochettino anyway, because he would like to win also. So at the end of the day, by buying a lot of young people, I'm pretty sure they're not listening to him. That's simple as that.
All right. I'm not sure if Couch Critic, Couch, can you hear us? Are you here?
Yeah, of course, man. What do you mean?
Big up, my brother. How are you? How you doing?
I'm good, man. You just gonna let me in the room and not even know if I'm here?
No, because you came in, I had a whole bunch of audio crackling in the background. Wasn't sure.
You're right about that. I'm still sort of at work. If the audio's bad, I apologize, but such is life as a musician, fellas. Good to see Boogie. Good to see Eric. Who else is that? Is that Andreas?
Andreas, yeah.
Yes, fellas, man. Good to see you all, man.
Good to have you on. Good to have you on, man. Yeah.
New season, new complications. I was listening to the tail end of what Boogie's saying there, and I don't disagree, but I've been saying this for a long time now. We've already been saying that, like, the cost to compete in the Premier League has gotten mad expensive. So you're talking about like building a squad of professional veteran players who have a proven track record of winning. You're not spending, 50, 60 million pound anymore. That's going to be a lot more expensive, 100 million, 120 million. And, you're not necessarily getting those guys for those valued contracts of like 7 years, 8 years that we've been doing, that little loophole that we find. You're getting those guys for 5 years tops if they're in their prime of their career. So I understand the move to go to a youthful squad. I agree that like Pochettino can't necessarily love that idea just because his job's on the line, his neck's on the line. And when you think about what the expectations are for Chelsea supporters overall, he's going to be up against it right from the get-go, without question. That's not a doubt. But I don't deny, and I don't disapprove of the owners taking this direction in terms of how they want to build a squad and whatnot. It's just temper the expectations at this point in time. Like, temper the expectations, because yeah, we should get back into Europe next year or this year, but anything above and beyond that is specifically on how fast this squad gels, on how fast these players actually mature into like proper footballers. And the signs are there. We're starting to see some performances and whatnot, even though the squad hasn't even been fully assembled yet. We still got Nkunku to come in. Lavia, the guy I've been screaming about for how long now, is coming to the side. Caicedo's still getting
I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second.
Yeah.
Fabrizio Romano, so he confirmed that Matson and now he's confirmed Trevor Chalobah is also staying. So Ian Matson, Trevor Chalobah, and who was the third one? Who was the third one that we just confirmed?
Cucurella.
And
Cucurella.
Just to say, Diego Moreiro is closing on a move to join Lyon.
Really? I thought he was going to stay with the U21s, but I guess there's not even an option for him there, eh? Wow.
Diego Moreira is possibly another outgoing. Okay. Do we have any information regarding the fee and whatnot, or is that still
nothing yet? It's
nothing yet. All right.
It's not even confirmed, so we have to wait and see a little bit. In terms of other transfers, it seems like all the players that might leave, Gallagher, Trevor Chalobah, all these players, it seems like they're all going to stay, and it's going to be a really quiet night for Chelsea. So it seems like Chelsea are done with their business, but Diego Moreira might join Lyon on loan. So we will see if that's true.
I think that's going to ruin his career, to be honest, because he's too young. Like, if anything, we saw in the Wimbledon game, he's not quite ready for first-team football. He needs to just go back and like hone his skills at the under 21 level. But that's for me to say. As far as like Matson and them guys, like, here's what I don't understand about Matson, okay? Like, and what we've come to understand and realize about his footballer. That guy's a footballer. He's flat out a footballer. Any position that Pochettino has given to him, whether it be left winger, inside forward. He played left midfielder last game. He's taken any one of these assignments and shown that he understands what the role is. So for me, you don't let guys like that go. Like, those are guys you can find places for them within the squad. And at the tender age of 21, like, there's no reason to be looking to move that guy. They're not even playing him in his preferred position, and he still looks like one of our better players, especially in the preseason when they played him inside forward number 10. He looked like one of our better players, playing in the half spaces, connecting with Jackson, like all of this stuff. He looked like one of our better players. So the very notion that he's a guy that they wanted to move, I don't care what the fee is, man. It's not been like an offer I cannot refuse for me to move a footballer.
Oh, shoot. Hold on. Fabrizio Romano literally just tweeted what Andreas just told us. So deal has been agreed for Diego Moreira as called. Yeah, it's been agreed. Yeah, you heard it first. You heard it first on the Blue Lounge. Literally just been tweeted by Fabrizio Romano, Diego Moreira. So
good work, Andreas. Good work.
Thanks.
Yeah, but isn't it? Listen, someone put yourself in Pochettino shoes right now. You have a Mason performing really good in preseason. I think he scored 2 goals or 3 goals or 4 goals in total. But I know for sure he scored 2 goals in one game. And then the season started, and the kid didn't start any game. So isn't it a worry? Like people, we keep saying, if there is any coach right now that develop youngsters, it has to be Pochettino. But obviously, the evidence show Medicine deserve to start as a youngster. So something is not clicking in the logics for me at all. Either Pochettino doesn't know what he's doing, or either Pochettino does know, or he doesn't have the full stamp on the team to decide who to play. I'm not sure what's going on right now. So
I
those
don't
are the
think this is Pochettino's decisions at all. I think this is more like board decisions. Like, we see a lot of in the media that Pochettino agrees with this and this, and yes, he's agreeing with it. But Todd Boyle, Bali, these guys, they are the really one with the power here. So they are going to decide whatever happens. So when Pochettino has been clear from the start, he wanted Madsen to stay at the football club, but when bid comes in for more than 30 million pounds, and Chelsea have already bought in so many players this window, owners felt that this was an opportunity to get some more money in. I don't know why, but they feel like they need a little bit more money. It's they have spent so much money and they have to be a little bit careful with the FFP. So I think this is why they are trying to make a little bit of control for it, because we have spent a lot of money in this window. It's like crazy money.
Andreas, and the thing is this: I know Boogeyman wants to come in, and I'll give him a chance to come in. But the thing is this: there is two sides to this project. There is a financial side, and there is the football side. And I think
Mm.
there needs to be a balance drawn here between who does Pochettino want to have in his squad, and who is going to generate money for the club. And I think that balance needs to be addressed. And I think and this is something that I said at the start of the stream. I think there is a little bit of a disconnect, between what is good for the team and what is good for the club, and financial fair play. And we need to find this balance. We need to find
Yeah.
this balance. And I know a lot of us fans were disappointed in regards to the whole Lewis Hall thing, in regards to Gallagher potentially being sold. But if you come down to it, if you are able to strike this balance, then you're good to go. For me, had we sold Conor Gallagher, and again, I emphasize not to Tottenham, had we sold Conor Gallagher to any other club, okay, for a fee of around £50 million, I would not be complaining. Honestly, I would not be complaining, and not because I don't think Conor Gallagher is a good player. I think Conor Gallagher is a good player. I think he has a lot more to do for his what's the word here, off the ball, for his passing, for his technical aspect. He's got a lot of work to do, but he's a good player. He's got a good morale, good motivation. He's loyal, so he's a good player. But if it comes to it, and I compare him to the players that we have in the squad, if we sell him, it isn't going to impact us that in a what's the word here, in a drastic manner. We have got midfielders, we have got attacking midfielders, we've got holding midfielders. Him being sold to balance the books, not a big problem for me. But if Pochettino wants him in his squad, if Pochettino thinks that Conor Gallagher is a key player in his squad, then we keep him, because for me that is more valuable than the £50 million we would get from selling him. So I just wanted to state that. I'll go
Yeah.
back to Boogie. Sorry, Catch. Boogie was about to come in.
Yeah, thanks. No, what I meant is, I understand. Thanks to Andrea. I understand what the point you just made, but what I'm thinking, what I'm saying is, Pochettino want Medicine and Conor Gallagher to stay in the team, especially the Medicine's case. Just use him. You're not even using him. Like, just forget about the board trying to sell him, or if there is a right bid coming, they will sell him. I don't mind that, but at least use it. We played 3 games already, and that kid was one of the best performers during the preseason. Use them to prove the owner that actually he is plan of the project. He is what you're waiting for. Like, if you don't use them the last 3 games, don't come to the owner and say not to sell them. They will sell them. Like, what do you expect? I just think,
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
no, I don't necessarily agree with that. Like, you don't just use him just to show. You use him because he has a role to fulfill within the club. And right now, I don't like the setup either. I think that like we're playing with like basically 5 defenders on the pitch, when I mean even with Matson it'd be 5 defenders. It's neither here nor there. It's like who would you rather have, a senior player in Ben Chilwell attacking the box, or Ian Matson? If it were me, I would take Ian Matson, just because I think that he has an awareness in the half spaces, and his ball striking ability is actually really good as well. But Ben Chilwell is he's one of the captains now. Like, how do you sit him on the bench, in favor of Madsen at this point? And that's where the rivalry is. That's where the competition for the position is right now, based on the injuries. But coming on to the Conor Gallagher thing, he's not getting into this side with the players that we have right now. Let's just be real. He's not getting in. Like, even somebody like Leslie Ogochukwu he looks a quality player. I'm just going to be real. Like, I've seen him in like fits and starts. I saw him the last game. That guy looks like he understands how to play in the midfield. Like, not just his ball ability, his ball striking ability, not just his range of passes, but his awareness, where to occupy spaces so that we can actually keep our shape as a team. He's going to be a good player for us going forward. I know nobody's really checking for him, but because we got Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo, and whatnot, but I would keep an eye on that guy. And if I'm right, and we have those 4 midfielders, and then Conor Gallagher, he's not going to get a lot of action. Like, we're basically playing with maybe two holding midfielders.
Couch. I want to ask you this.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And before we went live, we were discussing this behind in the green room, and this is the issue that I have with Conor Gallagher. Where would you play him? When you look at the players that we currently have, especially with Cole Palmer being brought in as well as our additional attacking midfielder. But why does Pochettino want him? And this is what I'm trying to figure out. So,
Well, I
enlighten me.
mean,
Why do you think?
just look at the characteristics, what he brings to the game. The guy plays with a lot of energy. When you have a midfield that doesn't, like, Enzo doesn't really get around that much. Enzo's just looking to pick passes, play the pretty stuff. But I think he wants him around specifically because he is a guy that will work for you. He will do the dirty work for you. And we've seen that with Conor Gallagher for however long right now. And then in the end, like, when he gets into the box, he's a guy that will finish for you. Let's not deny the guy's quality. His ball striking is actually quite good. But I just don't think the other bits of his game, like, the pace in which we want to play in attacking areas, suits his style. Like 1-2 touch passes all over the pitch. Can he actually be effective in that role? We're going to be in possession of the football, 65-70% of the game. Is his off-the-ball skills going to be utilized to the best of their ability when you have possession most times? I don't know. So, yeah, as a squad guy, he's a guy that you can utilize because he does the things that most guys don't want to do. But in terms of the football application and the pedigree of football that we're trying to employ at this club right now, ball possession, direct passes into the strikers and whatnot, I don't think that he has that ability about him. He definitely has an ability within the squad, but as I said before, I think that we have midfielders right now that are going to be vying for those exact same roles, and they offer more in terms of their total package. So it's going to be hard for him to get minutes. You just look at him in the attacking midfielder role. Yeah, you're right about like Cole Palmer coming in there. To be honest with you, and I know I've said this to you guys so many times, number 10 to me, when you play number 10, you have to be the most talented, gifted offensive thinker on the pitch. You have to be able to survey the pitch and be the guy that's making the decisions to pierce through that back line. I don't think Cole Palmer is that guy. I think that he's a skillful technical player, but I don't think he's an offensive thinker the way like a Juan Mata, like a David Silva, all these guys that actually think the game better than they actually use their offensive or their physical tools. I don't think he's that. I also don't think
Mm.
Connor Gallagher is that. But the fact that we just spent 45 million to bring this guy in, or 40 million, or whatever, means that he's going to be looked at or given more opportunities to play that number 10 role, maybe even as a shadow striker, more so than Connor Gallagher. So again, roles are limited there. And Kunku comes back into the side, roles even more limited. So
All right.
I can't
Let
see him
me
having a strong
let
role.
me let me bring in Eric into here. Eric, do you think that Gallagher will be sold? I mean, again, we got a few minutes left in this transfer window. Well, do you think he'll be sold next winter?
First of all, big up, Mr. Couch. Long time no talk. Nice to hear from you. I mean, I've been hearing from you. To be fair, it's not like this is the first time, but it's good to be on the panel with you again.
Respect
And
my guy.
yeah, yeah. Look, what you said, 100% right. Gallagher is not getting in the team at the moment. That's the truth. I think it's a little bit. I don't know if this is something I should read too much into, but I feel like it's a bit telling the fact that Gallagher is not even considered as a number 10 by Pochettino. It doesn't even. That's not even. That's never been a thing, and we know that is supposed to be his position. That's where he played for Crystal Palace. When Vieira, Vieira was trying to sign him on a permanent deal. So if Pochettino, from what I heard, he gave the green light for the move for Palmer. So let's see how that works out. I don't know what he's trying to do with him, but Gallagher, I think, will stay. I don't think he's going anywhere. Yes, I know he won't really be involved, probably, but he's not the kind of player to give up or get disappointed or sulk. So I always feel like Gallagher will be relevant. The way Couch was saying, you just have a player who will always be involved. He is very energetic. He knows how to tackle. For an offensive player, he's good at tackling, and he's a very good squad option. I think that's not a bad thing. Who knows if Ugochukwu will stay in the squad? He might leave himself. I think Poch was even saying that he was expecting him to leave, but who knows? And the way I see it, I think he's ahead of Lavia, even though we just spent all that money on Lavia. But I mean, there's a lot of things that are up in the air. It's not very
Okay.
clear, you know.
All right. Um, I'm going to let you start off with this question, Eric. Chelsea Football Club has sold the bulk of their experienced players, and they have sold a large number of those experienced players to so-called rivals like Arsenal, Man City, Man United. Um, some other players went to other clubs who are also rivals, but they're not the experienced players I'm talking about. Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, Kovacic, and so on. Were we right to do this, selling those players to rivals? You can start the ball rolling with this for the panel.
I mean, that's not a straightforward. Well, it depends how you
I know
look at
it's
it.
not. I know.
But yeah, I
So I'm
mean,
asking.
if you look at Mount and Havertz, maybe you say we were right to sell them to rivals. Um, Kovacic, I think he's good. He's all right for City. I don't think he's gonna like set the world alight. So even though he's a super talented player, we know what he can do, but I don't think he's that much of a difference maker for City. Um, so I'm not really too worried about the fact that we sold them to rivals. I think the most important thing was just to get rid of them. And even though they're experienced, we knew for a while that they just were not giving us what we were looking for. And for the experience that they had, we should have been on a different level. So
What do you say to the Chelsea fans who have been, criticizing the ownership because of this particular transaction? Are they wrong?
look, people are entitled to their opinions. The proof will be in the pudding. We have to just
Mm.
wait and see what happens with this. I mean, the season just started, so in the short term, you can overreact and look at the situation as such a terrible thing. But what are these players doing for other clubs? And you know, why do we think that we'll see something? These players have been for playing for us for a while. Maybe some people were happy with what we were seeing, but I wasn't. So, you know, we needed to move on in many ways from a lot of these experienced players, and it's just unfortunate that we didn't really set the team up in a way where there can be a more easy transition from the older players to some younger guys who will replace them. But I don't think they are on um I'm sure they have their reasons. I don't think it's wrong for people to be upset. I mean, we've had our problems with these new owners for some time, but it's just a little bit early, especially considering if you want to judge the owners based on the players who left, fair enough. But the players who come in, we don't. There's not enough time to say that they made such a huge blunder. So I remember the outrage when Mount left and when Havertz left. People were saying all sorts of things, but was that justified? Maybe at the time. Is it justified now? Not so much, in my opinion. So they can feel what they want to feel. It's normal. But personally, I just think just give let's see for the rest of this season. Let's at least give it one season and see what these new players can do.
All right. Who wants to go next?
Sure. If nobody's gonna jump right in. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Coach.
Okay. Lots and lots of what Eric said there just rings true with me as well. Um, I think a section of the fan base was like, "Hallelujah, we got rid of some of these players that we didn't think were movable." I don't think Mason Mount would have been able to fit into this squad either. I don't think that Kai Havertz has shown that he is this generational talent that we thought we were buying. Doesn't score enough goals, doesn't assist enough goals, doesn't work enough hard enough off the ball. There's all sorts of things that are just wrong with his game. And for him to be our marquee player and not have any of those attributes as being his number one piece to the puzzle, then honestly, I have no problem with moving those guys. Kovacic wanted to leave. He's won how many Champions Leagues now with Real Madrid, with Chelsea. He's not at a point where he wants to rebuild. He's looking to continue on winning. So I can understand him going to Man City, and we still collected a pretty healthy transfer fee for a guy that's moving on in his career. He's basically close to 30 now, if not 30. So I don't have a problem with that. Jorginho, again, there's not going to be a role for him within the way that we play right now. As a controller and whatnot, we got Enzo there. As, a guy that can just stabilize at the base. I think Caicedo's much, much better at that position. So there's no real need there. For me, everything that we've done in the window, everything that we've done to bring players in, move players out, I think is a step in the right direction. As I said before, I don't think that we're going to be in a position where we're going to be challenging right from the get-go anyways. And the cost to challenge in the Premier League right now is just too high. Man City have separated themselves in such an amazing fashion that to catch up to them and not expect them to actually get better as well, to catch up to them right now is an immense amount of money. So I think what we're doing right now is waiting until we have a bedding in period with this squad. And, maybe within the next 2 to 3 years, we're looking to be the dynastic team to, win the Premier League the next 3, 4, 5 years, that kind of thing. That's what we're setting up for these. It's not going to be immediate. And I know it's tough for Chelsea supporters to accept that we're going to have to wait to see when, the squad reaches its full maximum potential. But that's just the way it has to be right now. I know a lot of Chelsea supporters have been breastfed on this idea of short-termism, I myself included. I want to see instant results. I want us to win. Every year that we're in the Premier League should be a year that we're contending for titles. And the fact that I don't believe that we're not going to be in that position right now is, it's not the greatest feeling. But at the same time, we have to accept that this new way of doing business is a model that is looking for a little bit more sustainability, a little bit more in the way of, not burn hot for 1 year and then burn out the next year, as we've been accustomed to. The last time we won back-to-back titles was 2006. You know what I mean? Like ever since then, every time we win the title, you know, it's 1 year in, and then 1 year we get blown apart. And I think that this model here is embracing the idea of, you know, a dynastic approach to building a squad. And, you know, we'll wait and see what happens. But I think it's too early to really start throwing the toys out the pram about who we brought in and who we let go. Like we just got to let it all bed in and see where it goes.
Listen, Couch said the cost to compete because of Manchester City is too high. The model Chelsea have right now is one of the most expensive model of the last 2 seasons. They prove we spend more than $1 billion already.
Boogie, net spend. Don't buy into all of this talk about Chelsea spending so much money. Look
Yeah,
at
but
net spend. Look at
you're going to tell me
outgoings
we
as well.
signed 8 year contract, 7 years contract, so it's fact is
No. That's a different aspect. That's a different aspect. I'm talking about the amount of players that we've sold in comparison to the amount of players that we brought in. I think we have spent more. By I think if you look at it, we are I think fourth or fifth in regards to expenditure.
I think
We
we
have
go, go
go
ahead,
on.
sorry. Let me mute mine.
No, I was
I think we
just
got
saying.
in 200 something thousand, 200 something million. That's
I think it's more like 4.5 450 million in regards to net spend. Now, just off the top of my head. But what I'm
no,
trying to say is this: we have sold a lot of players, as well as buying some very expensive players. But
yeah.
Boogie,
So yeah,
the thing is this: it's not just the those players that we've sold to potential rivals or to rivals that I'm concerned about, but it's also the kind of players that we brought in. You see, when you're talking about spending money, I don't have a problem with us spending money, but are we spending it in the right way? Because how many players did we buy for 25 million, for 30 million, who we literally just sent out on loan or who are, on the peripheral of the actual first team?
that's
That
what
for me is a little bit of a problematic
exactly.
issue.
That's
Go ahead,
what I
go ahead,
was
Boogie.
saying. Even our models is really expensive model. So, and the other thing is, I don't know where Couch is getting this positivity from, saying we're building for the next 4 or 5 years. No, the thing is, we've been witnessing the EPL team that were built in EPL. This team we have today, next season, we'll be selling a lot of players and actually bringing player in. That's how you build team. Even if you keep this group of players for 3 years, they will all become average because that's what they know. You have to bring new good player, talented player in to challenge them so they can try to reach a new high. So at the end of the day, all this money we're spending right now, bringing the Laviat, the Casado in, or bringing the Palmer in, or bringing all those players in, we next windows, we're going to bring more player in to challenge them so they can reach another level. So at the end, it's just going to be a perpetual spending, which that's how you build it. In fact, when
I don't
someone
believe that, by the
your
way.
first
I'm just gonna
question
say
was
I don't believe that.
your first question was what we did by selling all those players. Was it good?
Sorry, just to interrupt you guys. I literally saw a message that Andrea sent me about 15 minutes ago, I literally just saw it now. This is what Andrea said. I'm going to literally read it out like he said it. Mo wanted to say this for a while now, but Moreira is joining Lyon on a £2.4 million deal. Okay, £2.4 million deal. And since then, Nizar Kansela has just literally confirmed it. So,
Yeah,
sorry,
What do you,
Andreas.
is it a
I
loan?
didn't want
What?
to
Sorry, is
jump
it a
in
loan?
and say it, but
Yeah,
he's
loan.
joining on 2.4 million pounds. So they have already made profit on Moreira. Chelsea have already made profit on him because he joined Chelsea on a free move, and now we already made 2.4 million pounds on sending him on loan to Lyon. So
Is
really
it
good business by
is it a
Chelsea.
loan or
Yeah, it's a straight loan.
oh, okay, that's good. That's good. No, okay. So let me finish what I'm trying to say. if you look at Manchester City, when before Pep Guardiola got it, they have a structure that always, like, I think they won the league already won, and they're challenging all the time for top four. Pep come in, brought Kevin De Bruyne and a few players just to solidify certain position, and then upgraded. And then after other season, he brought Bernardo Silva in just to upgrade certain position. So if you ask me, the fact that we sold pretty much all the entire team of last or two seasons previously, I don't think it was a good politic for me. You keep certain player and you let them gel until you see the reach a season and a half after or 2 seasons after, you notice, okay, I have this guy, I have this guy, and I have this guy, but then this position, I cannot improve it. That's why you bring someone, you pay the buck, you pay. If you go on a paid experience and really talented, even if it costs 150 million, you bring it in just to upgrade that position. That's how you build a chip. Of
Who
course,
would
you
you,
can have
Boogie?
a
Just quickly,
mount.
just quickly.
Wait, one second.
Who would you have kept? Who would you have kept?
What's that?
Of the players that we let go, who would you have kept?
It doesn't matter to me. I'm just talking in terms of
I
a
just
team.
want
We
your
won the
opinion.
Champions League with that team.
I just want your opinion. Like, who would you have kept?
I don't know. I will keep the Ungolo Kante. I will keep how do you call it? The one that we sold to Manchester City, Kovacic. I will keep who? I will keep all those. I even keep Mount. Maybe Havertz if he wants to stay.
Boogie,
I will keep
and
all
go-
those
and-
players
and
because
Gola-
it's a team, and then improve it once by signing.
N'Golo Kante contract expired. Kovacic had 1 year left.
It doesn't matter. What I'm trying to tell you is, for me to build a team that is going to be winning in 3 years, 4 years, it has to start. You have to keep a core. Like the fact that you sold everybody, bring a new players in, and you're telling me these new players in 3 years we will have some core, and then we'll be challenged in 4 years. And because we spend so much money right now, we're not gonna be spending money next season or this season. I tell you that you don't know what football is about, because next season this player, because they're all young, they're going to reach their limit in a few months, because they're all young, they're talented, but you have to bring experienced, really talented to challenge them, to force them to reach certain height. If you don't bring it,
I agree.
we will end up
agree.
being an average team. And well, you think Brighton? Do you see that Brighton team next season? They all talented
I
all
agree.
over the field.
I agree. We did not buy enough experienced players to come in.
Yeah, but no, we're going to be keep spending that money.
No, Boogie. This is the thing. I don't think the players that we had in the squad were worthy to be in this team. The reason being is the events that they went through. This includes Mason Mount. The events that they went through changed their understanding, changed their perception of their club. They are no longer the same players who won the Champions League. They're not those players anymore. They went through something which I'm going to call it PTSD, right? With the whole takeover of Chelsea Football Club, Boogeyman, they weren't even sure if they can, get on a plane and go to a game. Thomas Tuchel was talking about driving the bus himself, right? They didn't have food in the bloody canteen because they were not allowed to spend money to buy stuff to come in. The players went through PTSD. They went through shock. Okay, I promise. I give you time. Just let me finish this. So when this happened, those players are no longer seeing the club in the same way that we see the club. Okay, the new players who've come in, even Enzo Fernandez, who came in midway through last season, when he came to Chelsea Football Club, he sees Chelsea in a different light than these guys. All right, I love Kovacic, I love Hakim Ziyech, Koulibaly, all those players. I have nothing but love and respect for them. But they are no longer those players that we saw doing what they were doing. They changed. Their mentality changed. So it was the right thing to get them gone. It was the right thing to get
They
them
wanted
gone.
to leave. They
wanted to leave. Eric Spawn, they wanted to leave.
Thank you.
What I'm saying is this: should we have got more experienced players in to balance it with the youngsters? 100%. But should we have let those players stay? No. Selling them to rivals, is that, I mean, that was my question. And I'm going to answer it from my perspective. I think we did the right thing selling Kai Havertz to a rival. I think we did the right thing selling Mason Mount to a rival. And I'll tell you why. Because they are under a lot more pressure to perform than any other player in that squad, in that team. Okay, the fact that Kai Havertz is not doing it right now, that's because there's pressure on him. There's pressure on him. The fan base, they paid 60 plus million pounds for him. Mason Mount is the same. Okay, I had nothing but love for Mason Mount when he was in our squad, in our team. But the way he left the club, the whole fuss that he kicked off when leaving the club, I'm sorry, but I don't see him in the same light as I did before. And the same with Ziyech, the same with all the other players. Chelsea comes first. The players come second. Those players gone, I'm happy with. The issue is we did not buy enough experience. And that is my only boggle with this whole window. Boogie, I promised to get back to you, so I'm giving it back to you. Sorry to interrupt you, brother.
No problem. I think when you said they went to PTSD, then I'm going to, my next question to you is, so we all understand on this panel that football is not just about technical ability. The mental has to be there also, right?
Yes.
If the mental quits you, you just don't know what you're doing, all right? Good. So that's the
It affects you. It affects you, Boogie.
That's the weakness of populating your team with youngsters, who you just don't know what they're going to do in a given day in front of a given team. Like when they play, we don't know what they're going to do.
We saw with experienced players, Boogie. Experienced players had the problem.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying, even today, when you look at this team, anybody that says we have a really good Windows, like that's why I'm couch positivity, what is projected positivity. I'm just like, we're not finished spending that money.
Don't do that, Boogie. Don't do that. Don't use me as your lightning rod for your own campaign. I didn't say anything like that.
No. Listen, let me finish what I'm saying. If you don't,
but don't use my name. Don't use my name when you're trying to make your own point, please. Because I didn't say anything.
They'll take your name off the screen then. What? How do I call you?
Don't use my name.
What is this? What is this? How do I use your name?
Listen. Don't use my name to explain. I'm just saying.
I'm not sitting here.
So don't use me as your lightning rod. I'm just
telling
you, don't use me as your lightning rod. That's all.
Say
what you got to say.
No, come on, man. You got jokes. You got to say. You got jokes. Okay, let me finish.
Go on.
Let me finish. Okay, I think a few moments ago, I talked I used Andrea's name when he said something about Pochettino decision and the board decision. I used him because that was his view. Anyways, I'm coming back again when coach was projecting in 2 or 3 years from now. What I'm saying is this. For me, even next year, for us to be good to challenge in 4 years from now, we have to spend heavily next year also, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get young players to challenge themselves and reach certain level. If you just stop, or you bring another young player next season, or in the third year, you bring a young player in, we're never going to become that Chelsea that compete in 4 years, or that Chelsea we used to be, that will compete in 4 years. So we spend a lot of money right now buying young players that we've overpaid for. And then next year, we're going to be doing the same thing. It's going to be a perpetual spending and spending and spending. And we sit on here not reaching exactly what we normally expect from the name Chelsea Football Club.
So what you're talking about basically is balancing the squad, and that's fine. I can get behind that. What I don't understand is what you say.
Squad.
Of course you are. You're saying you need some more experienced players. It's balance.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the model we have right now, we're going to be spending.
Okay.
For anybody that said we spend enough this year, so we will hold spending for the next 2 years, is all completely off the wagon.
No, that's not true. But first of all, you have to take it. Just listen for a second. Because you said
you were not listening to me when I was talking. So
I was actually listening to you, and you're not making much sense. That's what I'm trying to tell you. First of all,
you're not making any sense. That's
financial fair play will limit us from doing the spending that you're talking about. The spending and spending and spending. This is the first window. This is the first monetary window, which is where they're doing most of their spending, not all of their spending. Everything that comes after that, all these young players that we bought, That's all currency. You know, you ship them on loan and you use that as currency to develop money for the squad. We have one of the smallest stadiums in the league. How do you expect to compete with Man City? How do you expect to compete with Manchester United that way? Beyond that, I don't know how you automatically assume that just because of what happened in this window, and ignore the window before that where we brought in all sorts of experience and none of it worked. Like how you're just gonna completely come to the conclusion that because we bought a younger profile player that now that's the model going forward. Like we didn't do anything close to that the first window. We brought in
Couch,
Koulibaly,
just
we brought in
to be fair,
Raheem
just to be
Sterling.
fair, Couch, just
Yeah.
1 second. To be fair to Boogie, we brought in experience, but we didn't have the right manager to manage that squad.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, it falls on him. I mean, I'll add this. I think Pochettino is the right manager to manage a young squad. I think Pochettino has what it takes to manage the squad. So from that aspect, I am a little bit more comfortable with having a young squad. But at the same time, I don't think Graham Potter was experienced enough to manage in that level with the experience that we brought in.
That's not even where I'm not even worried about Graham Potter. I'm not even worried about Frank. I'm not even worried about Tuchel at this point. I'm talking about what we did in subsequent windows, the previous windows. This last summer, we spent a exorbitant amount of money on experienced players, and then almost every one of them flopped. Every one of them flopped. Okay. Then January, we're looking for new profile players. We brought in a few names here and there, whatever. And then now this year, we've gone full bore and we basically built a squad in 2 windows. Like move players out, move players in a brand new window. Who's to say that next summer, that we're going to be following the exact same model as we did these last 2 windows, just because that's what we did now. There's no evidence to suggest that that's what's going to happen. Who knows if like even in January we go in and get Ivan Toney, for instance, from Brentford, an experienced striker. I just don't know. What I'm saying is right now, what we've done is not with a mind on winning next year or this year. It's done for winning in the future. Whether or not that is the winning formula has yet to be seen. Nobody knows. But I don't think that they're buying these players with the notion that they're going to be competing to win the title this year. That's what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with being a bright and fuzzy position like Chelsea's going to be. Oh, don't worry, it's rosy position, guys. It's uncertain. That's where we are. We have a young profile team.
Can I just quickly add to what you said there, Couch? I don't believe in this. Like, I think you agree with Couch. I don't agree with this idea that we need to just keep buying players, or we're going to. And I also don't think that is a necessity for the players to then perform just because they're young. I think the idea is that they'll compete with each other to improve each other, and compete in that way. Not that you have to bring someone who's 30 years old for them to then step up. And okay, maybe you talk about the defenders in that way. And I think defense is a very important position because, age is and experience is everything in that position. So you can say that about Thiago Silva. But just generally all over the pitch, I don't believe this thing that you just have to keep buying and buying and buying just so that, who we have will just quickly develop and become what they need to be. I don't believe that. I think it's with coaching on the training ground with the coach, and the young players will push each other. That's what I think. Maybe
100%.
100%. Before Andreas jump in, I'd like to answer this quick. Nobody is saying to go buy 6, 7 experienced players and dump in this young squad. What we're saying, or what I'm saying is, building a team is a process. When you have a team that is not performed at the level you expect, you keep a certain core of players and you invest heavily. It's not about numbers. It's about bringing this player, a profile. If we're not scoring goals, go bring one that can make the difference on his own, not expecting everybody to play with him to do this or to do this. That's all I'm saying. When Pep Guardiola went and brought Kevin De Bruyne, we know exactly the profile of Kevin De Bruyne when he came from Germany. The guy that can shoot from all positions on the field. If you leave him 1 meter around the box, he will take his chance. And he has an accuracy in within a meter. When he hit the ball, goalkeeper need to move and move fast as possible to stop the ball. So what I'm saying is this: I'm not saying let's Couch give the example of we signed a lot of experienced players. How many do we brought in? We brought like 6 or 7 or something in. For a coach that has no preseason, it's normal that nothing works. It's normal that they all flops. It's just there's so many parameters that you have to consider the reason why a team does not work. That's exactly, if you transport those parameters to this season, you can see exactly what's going to happen again. Now we have the opposite. We brought a lot of youngsters in it. And I'm saying, I don't mind these youngsters, but if anybody say, we brought these youngsters so we don't spend, the FFP regulation is going to come in, so we're not going to spend, then we're never going to progress as a football club, or we're not as a team. If we have to abide by those principles for FFP, because we can. Next season, we will have to spend. It doesn't mean we have to bring 6 other experienced players in the team. Maybe one, maybe find one that is really top. Everybody wanted, pay the 200 million pound and transfer and pay him 300 or 400,000 pound a week. That will be the one that can create the spark from the winger or be the best striker on the. We're going to spend those money.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're not wrong.
One second.
Yeah, sure.
Go on. No, go ahead.
I was just going to quickly say that, like, I'm not arguing that. I think that's the way that you build a team that's ready to compete. You just sprinkle that last little piece on top of it, and it becomes a team that's ready to race. Very similar to 2014, 2015, when we brought in Diego Costa and Fabregas to a team that was close to ready to compete. That's what you do. But that's not where we are right now. We're very much still in the infancy of this squad building yet. We're still trying to find a spine. We still have to find who's our goalkeeper, who's our center back pairings, who's our midfielders. I feel like midfield's pretty much settled, and then right up the pitch. Until you get that understand that that's what's happening first, you're never going to be happy. You're just going to be like, oh my God, we're just doing this, we're just doing that. Like, we still haven't built anything yet. And that is evidenced by the fact that, like, we're very much in our infancy. Like, you just look at what you're seeing right now. There's young people all over the pitch.
All right, I want to bring in Andreas for a second. Andreas, look, brother, we have had a crazy transfer window. I mean, it ticks all the boxes when it comes to the definition of the word crazy. But are we going to expect to see something similar to this in the winter? Are we going to expect to see something similar to this next summer? And the reason why I'm asking this question is because of all the points that we've been raised here, in regards to experience, in regards to the number of players that we have brought in. We have had a record, when it comes to outgoings this season. I don't think a club in the history has been able to sell as many players as we have done in this transfer window. Is this going to be the norm for Chelsea Football Club? Are we going to be seeing, this kind of change, this kind of pattern every summer, or is this, the remedy to the error of the last transfer window, the last summer transfer window? How do you forecast? How do you see the future transfer windows for the next couple of next couple of windows panning out for Chelsea Football Club from your perspective?
Well, Chelsea are going to spend money, of course, but not this amount. I think in January the plan now is to be quiet. As of now, they don't try to do something crazy. I don't think they even have a plan to make some more transfer now in January. I think they want a quiet January because, after spending this much, it's not so much room anymore to just keep bringing in all of these players. It's not possible to do this in the long run. You have to start getting these players. You can't actually have more mistakes in who players you're buying out. These players have now to ball and be a part of the team because they just can't keep doing this. And Chelsea are different. So yes, they have a little bit more room. If more players are getting injured, if Pochettino are seeing something that he's missing, then he's going to talk to the board together, and they are going to find out that maybe they have to go for a player. But as of now, the plan is to take it really quiet and to not do anything in January. And And the thing is, Pochettino is actually really happy with his squad because he has got the players he wanted. Yes, he wanted a little bit more experience. He has said this a lot in press conferences and stuff, but still, he's getting the players in the positions he wants. So he's still totally in this project, and he knows that he's going to be that guy to build this team, and that's why he's confident of doing it. Yes, he wanted a little bit more experienced players, but it seems like these owners, they don't want to to get experienced players. I think they just want to feel what's right for themselves, and they have convinced the sporting director and Kutu and the board to make that happen. So they are just trying to build something for the future, and trying also to be competitive now. So it's going to be quite January if not something is going to happen.
Andreas, in regards to the directors like Joe Shield and the others, how much of an impact do they have in regards to the transfer negotiations? Because
Yeah.
I'll give you, the whole Caicedo situation kind of, took us all off guard when Liverpool came in and started to mess about, and then it took Todd Bowley and Iqbali to directly interject into the deal before
Yeah.
they were able to, to secure it. Um,
So
yeah, just give us a breakdown of how these deals are actually happening in regards to the owners and these directors. Where is the power? Where is the control? Where is the decision making?
So this is actually hard because it's difficult to understand because yes, they have the power. Yes, the sporting director has the power, but when something becomes really difficult because the owners make a limit to the sporting directors of what you can actually pay for a player and what you cannot pay for a player in terms of wages and in terms of the transfer fee and length of contract and everything like this. So they are
Facts.
working. So they are working through uh, the limits that the owners made. And what happened in the Caicedo saga, Caicedo saga is that Liverpool, the owners, know the sporting directors were working all the summer to get the players in terms of that 80. I think the maximum was around 90 million pounds. The limit was that the owners gave the sporting directors to do this deal, but they couldn't do it, and that's why the owners decided to jump into the deal, and then they started to negotiate because they know that this limit was gone. Liverpool were putting in crazy bid for Caicedo, so they had to do this. So the thing is, the sporting directors, they are the ones that negotiating everything and stuff for the players. But if something happens, if a transfer fee looks like it's not going to happen or it's going to be more than what the owners have put the limit on, then they are going into the transfer. And that's why we have seen many times in the transfer window already last summer with Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo now, in many transfer deals, the owners have gotten involved because the sporting directors are afraid to make a mistake because they know that they can't just put in a bid of 115 million pounds for a player when already Egbali and Todd Boyle and Hans Vervis and all these guys and Mark Walter and all these guys have said that the limits is of 90 million pounds. That's why it's so difficult, and that's why we have already seen that Egbali and Todd Boyle and these guys have been involved in so many transfers.
Spot on. But can I just say this? And I agree with pretty much 99% of what you said. That's exactly what goes on. Like when you get into these big money moves where it goes over what we had initially anticipated paying, then the owners get involved to negotiate what is fair on their terms. Because, but I wouldn't say that it's because the sporting directors are afraid of going over the number. It's just that's the threshold. They can't go over that number without
Yeah,
having the owners and get
exactly.
involved. It's just that simple. They can't get in. They can't go any further with that. So as far as the negotiation goes, as soon as it becomes a big money thing, we're talking about Egbali having to speak directly because it's his money essentially. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's too dissimilar from Roman Abramovich. Like obviously, Marina had lots of control in terms of like the movement of players and whatnot, but the final word it always fall with Abramovich. So if that's a model that we're accustomed to and we're familiar with, then I would expect no different with Iqbali and Boli. They're just there to make sure that the deal doesn't spiral well out of control, well out of their control. So it's just that simple, I think.
Yep. Um, Lads, I'm about to wrap up. We'll have about another 10, 15 minutes before we wrap up the stream. I haven't asked for any likes on the stream, and I can't believe I'd not asked for any likes.
Hmm.
And we've not had many. So, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe. We are literally a few subscribers away from hitting 20,000 on this channel. So, if you are watching the stream and you haven't subscribed, do us the honor of having you as a subscriber to our channel. Um, the last thing I want to discuss before we wrap up is the season. So we've had a reasonably decent start to the season. I would say it's not been great, but it hasn't been a disaster. Um, Now, me personally, I don't think we'll finish in the top four. I think that should be our target. I think that's what we should be aiming for. I don't think we'll finish in the top four. But if we don't finish in the top four, for me, it hasn't been the end of it's not a disaster. Okay, I want to be, I want to be fifth. I want to be, there or thereabouts. I mean, I want to be number one. But I mean, if we finish fifth, it isn't a disaster for me. I want to see us challenge for the top four. If we don't finish in the top four, it's
That's
not a
Champions
disaster
League football,
for me.
Mo. Fifth
I
is
know it's. I want. No, fourth. Yeah, actually, you're right.
fifth.
Fifth
It's
is
going.
Champions
If
League
Chelsea
football.
finish
Yeah,
fifth this season, we are going to
next.
be in the
Yeah,
Champions League.
yeah, yeah. So let's finish fifth, lads. Let's finish.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Top five is Champions
Who
League
do you
football.
who do you have ahead of Chelsea in fifth?
Who do I have ahead? No, I don't have. No, I'm thinking. If we finish
Well,
fifth, it's not the end of the world.
yeah, I know, I get that, but who do you have ahead of them if they finish fifth? Who finishes above them?
All right. So you're putting me on the spot. I'm predicting Man City to win. All right, Man City will win. I believe that Newcastle could be ahead of us this season. Arsenal, yes. Um,
Liverpool, Manchester United, or
I'm,
not?
that's who's. I mean, I'm thinking either one of those two, and it all depends on the whole Mohamed Salah situation. Because if Mohamed Salah is sold to Saudi Arabia, they have no chance. And it looks like, I mean, listening to Einstein early on today, it does look like Saudi Arabia are going to keep pushing up until the last day of their transfer window. So they still have 6 days to go in the transfer window. So they could potentially put in 150, 200 million pound
Mm.
sterling bid for Mohamed Salah. I mean, the impact that he would have going to Saudi Arabia is, forget Ronaldo, forget Messi. Mohamed Salah goes to play for you in Saudi Arabia. That's it. That's the pinnacle.
Someone said
So
free Salah.
they would they would pay that money. So if they do sell Salah, then yeah, no, Liverpool will not be anywhere near the Champions League next season. So for me, it's those, it's that pack. It's that pack that is worrying for me. The point I'm trying to make is this: this season, if we finish in the top five, I'm happy with. I do, for me, Europa League football, I don't mind it, but I want to see us be there or thereabouts. Next season is where I want to see the fruits of this transfer window. I want to see us being, comfortably in the top four, top five, Champions League qualification, comfortably next season. This season, I want us to be there or thereabouts. I believe that we need to look at this as a progression. I was someone who came on here, talked to you guys, and said, "We are Chelsea Football Club. We need to keep our expectations high." Da, 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 da. Do you guys remember that? But then we had Graham Potter for a season. We had Lampard for a chunk of a season. And my expectations now, with that team that we were so high and mighty with, plummeted. So for me, these young lads do need time, but I have a lot of faith in them. Nicholas Jackson, baller, fantastic signing. Nkunku, what a player. Nkunku in that box with that ball, you know he's putting it in the back of the net. You don't have no PTSD from Kai Havertz or no, he is putting that ball in the back of the net. All right, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, and even Mudryk for me is a player that if we nurture him right, he will come. He will come good. Nkunku, I said, Madueke, fantastic player. Even Raheem Sterling. Have you guys seen the difference that Raheem Sterling has made in the past couple of games playing under Pochettino? Raheem Sterling under Graham Potter, you don't even you see him with the ball, you just put your head down and think, what is he going to do? What is he going to do? Literally. But with Pochettino, no, Raheem Sterling is giving me Hazard vibes.
Yeah,
Seriously,
but
Hazard vibes, man.
yeah, but the same Raheem Sterling, the first two games under Pochettino were not that good. Yeah,
Pre-season, man was he's warming up. He's
he
getting
was,
his
yeah,
blood
exactly. He was
circulating,
still
man.
getting his groove.
Get his blood circulating. But that's the thing. I have a lot of high expectations of my team. But when I say high expectations, I'm expecting them to perform and to play well. I'm not expecting them to win every game. I'm not expecting us to challenge. But I am not expecting the shambolic shit show of a season that we did last season. That will not happen. Pochettino will not allow that to happen. Okay, the players that we have today are the different players than we had last season. And for that, I am comfortable and I am hoping that we can build on that. Having youngsters, yes, they're inexperienced, but they're also fearless. They're also fearless. And you see that with Nicholas Jackson. You saw that with even Santos, Gabriel, who's out on loan. All these players, they have got something about them, and I think nurturing them the right way, and Pochettino is the man to do it. I think he's the man to do it. I am not 100% on board with everything these ownership are doing. No way. You guys know that. But I think there are certain elements that are positive and that are productive, and I think we need to give it that bit of time. I think I think the amount of money they spent, they deserve a little bit of patience from us. But I'll open it to you guys for the next 10, 15 minutes to get your point of view on
Let
this.
me go first, and I need to bounce anyways. I'm not going to talk about the owner. I'm just going to talk about the players that we bought. The quality, no doubt. This I cannot predict how we will finish because there's a lot of team in the middle of the table that's going to take a lot of points from us because of the inexperienced players that we have. The quality is there. It's like we play lottery and we just don't know if we're going to win big or we're going to get our money back or we're just going to lose. So I cannot predict anything. So at this point, I just hope that those players during this season will develop under Pochettino, and as soon as possible, we will get Jackson, and I think we signed. Who else is our striker? We have two men. There's a young, okay,
We
at least
have
Jackson.
Broha, we have Jackson, we have
The third one.
Nkunku.
There's a third
Who?
young
Which
one
third
that
one?
came up. What's that? He has an
Oh,
English name.
Mason.
He's going on loan. He's going on
He
loan.
went on
Mason
loan. Yeah, he
Burstow.
went. Versto, yeah, he went on loan.
He
He's on
already
loan.
left. Okay, I like him anyways. But anyways, so I hopefully because we need someone to put in the start scoring goals to allow the creativity to develop. Because if we're not scoring goals, then the midfield is under constant pressure not to let it go score on us or not to lose the ball, and the creativity just doesn't boom fast. So hopefully Jackson allows this team to develop as fast as possible. And Pochettino, listen, the story with Madsen, I'm talking about the Netherlands kid, the young one. The story around Madsen is not inspiring me too much confidence about the way Pochettino is managing.
Matson.
Madsen, okay.
Ian Matson. In
Yes,
Matson, yeah,
Master,
yeah.
yeah. The situation around that player is not really inspired to my confidence for me to really understand what position is doing. Like for me, when you're managing young talent, when they deserve it, just put them in. Like if you feel like they deserve to be there, you need to start building that competitivity between themselves. The fight, you go, you defend, you score goals, then you go next again. So I think he need to put more emphasis to and encourage to get those players, medicine to play. And if he doesn't deserve it, if 2 or 3 or 4 game, and he doesn't score goal, then you bring Chilwell back in. And my other concern at this point is Chilwell and James. Those are the one I will call quote unquote the experienced players, but they're not going to be fit during the entire season, which is a really, really a worry for me. Because if James cannot keep his position and keep a constant performance from that position, allowing Enzo to actually build his own personality in the midfield, or has to rely on playing with Gusto a few games, or play with James. It just this whole changes always have some negative influences on the midfield, especially if that's you want to be a creative midfield, you're young, you like a lot of people to be constant around you. So certain passes, certain decisions become more automated than just trying to look before pass or trying to take 2 or 3 look behind you before receiving the ball. That it drains the energy in out of the midfield. So I hope we find a way to keep James constant in that position, Chilwell constant on that position, and Caicedo also coming and perform at the level he did at Brighton. So at least we can allow our midfield to become compact and boom from that position. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We'll see though. We'll see. As a Chelsea fan, we're just going to wait and see which player deserves to stay next season. Because at the end of the day, I don't think we'll be top 4. I don't think we'll be top 5 because there's a lot of team in the middle of the table that they're really going to take a lot of points from us, and I don't think we're ready for it yet. Anyways, that's all I can say.
All right, thank you, Boogeyman. Appreciate it. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next. I'm just really liking what everyone is saying. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the season, man. Just started. I think no matter what we did this season, we're gonna get top 6. I don't think we'll get top 4. If we can squeeze into that 5th spot, fantastic. Winning a trophy. Some people expect us to win a trophy. Not sure we can do that. Realistically, it's possible, but we have Man City to deal with, which are the main people I'm concerned about.
We have Brighton to deal
Um,
with first.
we
I'm
have
looking forward
well,
to that one. I'm looking forward to that one.
let's not talk about that team, man. Um, I have a lot of things I could say about Brighton, but yeah, it's it's a competitive season. I'm not sure if it's more to do with the other teams stepping up or the big teams not being as good as they're supposed to. But we have to compete with a few teams than a few more teams than we normally expect to. But I still think top 6 is doable. We have to finish 6 at the very lowest.
Bashir Humphreys to Swansea. Did I
Official.
miss that? It's
No,
official. Okay.
maybe, but it's official.
Okay.
Long time
Yeah.
ago, official.
Yeah, I must have missed that. I must have missed that. Sorry to cut you off, Eric.
No, no, yeah, yeah. Look, I think we can get top 6, 100%. We can maybe squeeze in that 5th spot. I hope we do. Let's go, do some. Let's have a nice cup. For a few cup runs, we have the 2 cups to play in. If we can get to the final, that would be fantastic. If we get to the final, I have to expect a win because that is just what we should expect, no matter what. Try to win, do everything you can, and I don't think it's going to take too long for this team to start giving us some optimism for the next season. I think that it's just a matter of time, just a matter of some players just getting used to what Poch wants, getting to know each other, and let's just see where we can go this season. I'm very much excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. I've done a few things to honestly, I've invested more time than I would normally do, and I'm hoping that it's not, I'm not wasting my time, and I don't think I am. So yeah, very optimistic. Not so much, when the owners came in, not as much, obviously, because things happened and we weren't really sure what was, what we to expect really. But I think, like I keep saying, ever since the January window, I think we're moving in the right direction, and the positives outweigh the negatives by a lot at the moment, in my opinion. So yeah, let's see what we can do.
All right, thank you, Eric. Thank you, Andreas. Do you want to give us your thoughts?
Yeah,
I'll close off with Couch.
yeah, I'm hoping that we are going to see some improvements in terms of results. I hope that after we have moved on so many players that was a part of the team that lost the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup so many times, that we see something different, people that is not giving up so easily, that we saw. I hope we see some different. I'm not sure what we are going to see because it's going to be so difficult to even think about it because it's something totally new, uh, and it's a totally new team. I think one thing also that we have not talked about yet is that, is it going to be the same problem like we have had for the last 2 or 3 seasons with all these injuries? I mean, people, yes, it's not really the Chelsea way to complain about injuries, but when you have 9 or 10 players injured at the same time, it's going to be difficult when you have maybe your best offensive player in Nkunku out for so long. Fofana is probably out for almost the whole season. So I'm just not sure what we are going to see. I think we have a good enough team. I'm really happy that we got Cole Palmer in because both Chukwuemeka and Nkunku is injured that can play in that position, and I don't really want to see Conor Gallagher be playing in that position the whole season. So I'm really happy that we are going to see Cole Palmer maybe playing in that position ahead of Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo, these players that we already have. But I think it's going to be again a little bit a challenging season. Season. I think we are going to improve a lot, but I'm not expecting top four. I think Chelsea are going to finish maybe fifth, sixth, or seventh this season. But I'm really hoping for the best.
Thank you, Andreas. Thank you very much. Couch.
Yeah, big up, fellas. Always good to hear from all you guys, and it's been a minute, so hoping everyone continues to keep the faith and just trust the process. Like I mean, they haven't really given us a lot to go on yet. No wins, no trophies and whatnot, but let's just be real. Like, these guys are ambitious owners. They obviously have shown their ambition to the tune of like over £1 billion in this transfer window. Whether or not it's net or not, it's still an investment. They're not looking to do the FSG model of just standing pat with what they have. They're looking to be proactive. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and just I'm looking for this season. My outlook for this season is just to see good football played. If we can return to just playing some good football, I think that everything else will take care of itself, whether it be top four or otherwise. I just want to see good football. And as Andreas said, like, it's hard to really gauge what this season is going to hold just because we have so many key injuries, and we do. The most important thing that Chelsea can hope for and not buy is health. Like, that's the one thing that you cannot control is a healthy squad. They can't buy that. And Reece James often injured. I mean, we can't really depend on Ben Chilwell to be, you know, not healthy, 100% healthy. And Kunku already gone down. Like, there's a lot of people that we invested a lot in, and then not only that, we depend on them to deliver at a high level. And that not only does it just put a lot of stress on some of the younger players that may or may not be ready to take on those responsibilities, but it just puts a whole stress on the entire club. Like, we spent this money because we were hoping to be challenging at the very highest level, and then when you lose players to injury in the fashion that we have the last couple of years, it's very hard to keep those expectations in tow. So, I'm looking to see some good football. That's what I want to see. I don't want to make any predictions on where we're going to finish, although, I mean, we can't ignore the fact that the amount of money spent and the amount of players that we brought in, that the expectation can't be Champions League spot. Like let's not shy away from that. We have to be in the Champions League next year. There's a lot of players that that we brought in with that in mind, and yeah, that's the minimum for me. I think we have to be in one of those spots, whether it be fourth or fifth. I don't care, but we have to be in the Champions League. And with that said, um, the priority has to be on, one game a week, making sure that we're all pretty much on the same reading from the same hymn book and understanding what Pochettino wants, and just continue to play a high level of football. I think the first three games have shown that we have things to work on, but the application of the football is really good. We're playing attacking football. We're creating opportunities. We're just not taking them, as been the case with Chelsea for the last few years. But, I'm hoping that under the tutelage of Pochettino and the fact that we'll only be playing one game a week, we can stay relatively healthy and just start to formulate a team that can, take the opportunities that are presented to them and just be killer, be a real killing machine. And that starts on the training pitch for me, which is why I like the fact that we went out and bought a bunch of players who are hungry and are competing for the position, not only on the match day squad, but also on the training, because that's what's missing from Chelsea of old. Like we talk about, we want the old Chelsea back. Old Chelsea had two players at every position, all pretty much internationals, fighting every day in training to try and get on the pitch. Until we can return to that form, where we have players fighting tooth and nail to get on the pitch next match, then we're just going to see the same results as we did last year. But I'm hoping for a difference this year.
Fantastic, fantastic. Optimism is the key, and we're all optimistic, and we're all looking forward to this. Guys, it's been fantastic to have you on the show. Good to have you back, Couch, Boogie, Eric, Andreas. It's been fantastic. We've got a long season ahead of us, so let's see how things pan out. But yeah, guys in the chat, thank you all for your support. Thank you all for subscribing and liking. If you haven't subscribed and liked, hint, hint. But yeah, take care of yourselves, people, and I will see you guys in the next upload. Take care, guys. Have a good night. Peace.